Man, I must really love early 2000s alt rock because I am down with the sickness. I've been at home ill for the better part of 3 days now, and I am just not having a good time. I mean, yeah, Crablante and Titans Return Wave 3 finally showed up, so I got something to do. But geez, it hasn't been fun, guys. I've slept and watched Netflix. I am just a tad stir crazy, so here I am in front of a camera trying to put that energy somewhere. But one of the things my best friend John really likes doing is he likes buying gifts for the people he really cares about. Doesn't matter the time of year, doesn't matter if they're having a birthday or whatnot. But when it comes to this time of year, he goes all out. Every year he does something nicer and nicer, and I just I can't get over how generous he is. He's one of the best people I've ever met. But this year, ooh, he was a little devious about it. Because he was like, Terry, I'm gonna get you something nice, but you gotta make a video about it. So, thanks for the chore, John. And also, thanks for Masterpiece Optimus Primal. Oh. I would have made a video about this guy regardless. This is some good stuff right here. So Primal can be got for about $120. And when I first saw him, especially with his size compared to MP-10, I kind of backed out. I thought it was too little for how much it cost. It was getting too rich for my blood. But then I managed to actually get to mess around with one in hand, and I was sold completely. I was perfectly ready to drop that money right then and there, and I would have if not for finding out that it was going to be given to me as a gift. Up front, the best thing about this guy is actually one of the things that's going to be the most challenging to talk about, because he is incredibly uncomplicated. Everything about him is smooth and logical, and it makes sense, and you see where everything is going, but it's not obvious. Like, you can look at him and be like, okay, well, I can tell where the parts go, but there's a lot of little things, little flourishes, not finicky bits, but little flares that make everything work and everything fit well together. But none of it seems obtrusive. None of it seems like it diminishes it. None of it is just like, let's heap more on. Because, I mean, geez, for the longest time, one of the biggest selling points of Masterpieces was incredibly complex, intricate transformations that, can we admit, kind of shit. I mean, MP-01's legs were, God, a nightmare. And MP-09, ugh. I mean, Rodimus looked great in both modes, but it took like 25 minutes to get between them. That just shouldn't happen. We're gonna begin in robot mode, and we're gonna talk about all the cool little things that I like about this guy. But first, I want to talk about the one glaring bad thing about this. That's his elbows. Just look at that. That is, ugh. Ugh, it's so empty. And I know the only reason it's there is to accommodate these forearm blasters. And yeah, these are really cool, and I really like them. But I would have appreciated maybe a little bit of a dinkier blaster just to fill out that gap. I don't think I would complain about just the dinky base. Now that we've got that teeny tiny bit of unsightliness out of the way, let's get into the really cool stuff about Primal. First, his shoulder cannons. These things survive the transition to Masterpiece quite well. And even though they don't tuck into the top of his chest like they used to, they fold away cleanly, they don't get in the way of anything, and they look really well in a lot of poses. They get out of the way perfect, and he does tons of flight poses, because that's one of the things this guy does, and it looks right. And to make those flying poses relevant, this time around he actually has his jetpack. Yeah, it's a small touch, but when you consider how much they drew from the original toys to make the animation models for Beast Wars, it seemed a little weird that Optimus Primal just had a jetpack when the toy didn't. I haven't been keeping up with Masterpiece Transformers for a while now, and to put it all out there, Primal here is the first Takara Masterpiece I've ever owned. So I'm not sure if this is a common trend, a new thing, or if this has been going on for a while. This guy comes with a ton of faces. The robot mode totals out at 4 faces, and I generally prefer to go with his standard one, even though out of the box I had a little scratch on the bridge of his nose. Here we have the obligatory Prime face mask that he only used once in the show, but it was the stock face for the original toy, so if they're going to put in multiple faces, it's gotta be here. I'm not sure how well my camera is actually going to get across the detail of these faces, so I'm going to describe this one as that face that all the kids on the Magic School Bus gave Carlos whenever he told a joke. And now we come to the last face that can only be described as squinty, angry talking. And there's really not much to say about it. I don't really care about it, but I do have a funny story. So when I first got this guy, I didn't really know the best way to pull his faces off effectively. So I just kind of like wrenched my thumbnail back behind the faceplate, and it just punctured me. And I bled all over a new pair of pants. And it's that blood pack right there that reassures me every day that Primal's probably going to be a guy who's going to stick around in my collection for a long time. This isn't the special version that has the banana crate with the awesome metal mace. So the only thing that I've got for this guy, melee-wise, are these awesome swords. And these things just look great. They look advanced and sharp and like something that couldn't be made in this era. And that really fits with the design aesthetic for Beast Wars. And seriously, every Transformer I had around me when I got this guy that has opening and closing hands has held these swords. And really, there's not many that look cool holding them but Primal. But now that we're done playing with his toys and emotions, it's time to talk about how Primal moves. And overall, his posability is middling at best. A lot of the joints do exactly what you want them to do, but none of them do it extravagantly enough for me to call it outstanding. But there are a couple that I do have to talk about. They are going to be probably a little bit nitpicky, but first off, his head can only look up that much. Now, I don't know about you, but I get the feeling that this guy is going to be on a lot of shelves in a flying pose, attached to a flight stand, and really, if he's going to be flying on most shelves, and that's the most his head can look up, that's a little disappointing. Next up, his knees. They don't even go 90 degrees. And on a masterpiece, that sucks. Because, I mean, in addition to being a flying guy, he's a wild jungle man. And I kind of wanted to get him in a lot of acrobatic, like, lunging poses. And I can't, because of how limited his knees are. They don't compress anymore. Don't get me wrong, Primal's posability isn't bad per se, but there are spots that do leave me wanting more. But a huge bit of kudos go to his shoulder pads, because they go up and down for transformation, but stay put in robot mode. How many times am I going to do this? Is it going to be a lot? Bet it's going to be a lot. Ooh. But now that the robot mode's out of the way, it's time to take this guy all the way to Monkey Town. I don't know why I said that. I'm a little disappointed in me. Oh man, that transformation. Like I said, it is gloriously uncomplicated, but there is a specific order of operations to it. And if you don't have that order of operations down, things just won't go. So now that we finally got him into gorilla mode, I want to talk about his colors. In robot mode, they were kind of broken up by his robot bits, so you didn't really see him very much. But this paint, which technically can't even call paint. His chest is a very nice and smooth black, but everything else has this nice, like, textured fur pattern on it that is totally unique amongst Transformers. I don't know if Cheetor is going to have this, but as of right now, no other Transformer has been painted like this guy. He's given his fur texture using a process called hydrographicking. And what they do is they float the image on top of a small, like, pool of water, like a basin, and they dip the piece into it so that the image adheres to it perfectly. When I first saw hydrographicking on the internet, I thought it was a hoax. I thought it was just movie magic. But if Captain Disillusion gives it a pass, I've got to take it for the miracle of modern science that it is. But even though they got the paint work so perfectly right, I gotta be shallow. These panel lines, they do kind of ruin it a bit. The mystique is a little bit gone, but really, like I said, that is shallow, and I can easily get over that. The thing I have a little bit harder time getting over is that somehow this remained intact from the original toy. I don't know how, but I mean, the back of his legs are still white. Make of that what you will. Like the robot mode, gorilla mode also has alternate faces. He's got his stock, stern, stoic face, the face that Optimus Primal is most known for if you've watched the show. But if you've only seen promotional material, you're probably most familiar with this face. In the cutaways to commercials, they always played this one promo where it was Optimus Primal's face just showing up, just Beast Wars, roar! And it just looked awkward. And then there's the third face that is a horrifying nightmare smile. Ugh. 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 We're going to handle posability in Primal's Gorilla Mode in 2 phases. First is going to be his upright stance like this, because it's the easiest one without that much description. A lot of his limbs are the same limbs as they were in Robot Mode, so they work the same in Robot Mode. The only major difference being is he doesn't have access to his waist joint in this mode, and he doesn't have knees. Everything else is still there, and you'd kind of have to work his hips just a bit to get a little bit of motion out of him, but they're still there. His arms work the exact same, but there's an addition. There's something really nice. He's got a good, cross joint, so he can cross his arm across his chest. And this, along with an extra set of engineering, is to facilitate his second stance. Primal can take a stance that's very akin to how gorillas naturally stand in real life, also how his original toy stood, but not so much how Primal himself handled gorilla mode in the original cartoon. MP-Primal has engineering that can let him stand on all fours, like a real gorilla. This is really neat. It has engineering unique to this stance alone. It's a minor touch that I did not expect to be in here, and I really wouldn't have wanted it if it was missing. Overall, Masterpiece Optimus Primal gets a solid A. Yeah, there were some of the basics that it just didn't quite grasp, but it worked really, really hard on the extra credit, and that shot it well into the passing area. If you were ever looking curiously at Masterpiece Optimus Primal, I can happily say you can buy with confidence. With his gorgeous detailing, dedication to show accuracy, and absolutely wonderfully uncomplicated transformation, Masterpiece Optimus Primal is just a great figure to add to any Transformers collection, any Beast Wars collection, and hell, could probably be a good addition to it, any toy collection, period. It is a great looking piece that is held up by great construction, wonderful ingenuity, and is just... I'm gushing, because there's not much bad to say about it. There are his clear gripes, his clear complaints, and really my biggest fear is that I'm just gonna scratch it. I've played with this thing a lot. Like, a lot. Since I got him just after Thanksgiving, and there hasn't been any scratches on him or any mars to his detailing, but I'm just worried that I'm gonna scratch it. And I like it so much, I don't want that to happen. Over everything, ignoring his knees and his gappy elbows, that is the biggest worry I have about this guy, is that he looks so good that I'm gonna screw it up. So really, go for it. I can't say it enough. Go for it. It's good. It's really good. Now that I'm done gushing about MP-Primal, I just gotta say, I am tired. It's 1 in the morning right now, and the only reason I managed to stay awake this late is over the last 2.5 days, I've probably slept 22 hours, being sick and all. And I built up all this extra energy with nowhere to put it. And I haven't really wanted to leave the house, so that translated to me just staying up super late, talking in front of a camera. And it's just gonna suck for tomorrow, because I've got a holiday party to go to and a birthday party, so wish me luck. Next thing you guys are probably gonna see from me, maybe a top 10 Transformers 2016. Probably. There might be something small in the middle. Depends on what I get for Christmas. I'll see you guys later. Bye!